Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Sunday, April 7th, 2024. We're just in that little lull, Dad, That little lull of the offseason where the major part of free agency is over, with all the big moves that happen right away.
For sure.
And there's a few things that could still happen, of course, but we're on that point between the big free agency week and then the draft.
Right.
That the little month area or so that just makes you kind of nothing really to talk about,
Well, you just start looking at all the mock drafts and you see who they're thinking we're going to get and who we think we're going to get, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today somewhat.
Absolutely.
We had some good signings this week, though.
Yeah. So like my dad said, we'll talk about a few different things. Going to go over some more free agent stuff. Not really any free agency technically, just kind of guys we re-signed or extended and stuff like that. And then we'll talk about kind of our draft expectations. We're going to be going over a little list. We'll get more into it later. And then, of course, as always, we'll talk about some other sports stuff because I got some stuff to talk about there. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So as far as the free agency side of things, we extended Reed Blankenship. He's under contract now until 2026, so he's under contract for the next 2 seasons, 24 and 25. I don't know if we really have the numbers yet, correct?
No, I haven't seen them.
I think we might actually have the numbers, but it's all less than $1 million. He's an undrafted guy, so his money's going to be less. But I think that's a good signing. I know we talked about how his first year, his rookie year, he came out with a bang, kind of had an interception his first game, and then he had another pick later that year. He's really great. And then last year, he had some problems with injuries, and then when he did play towards the end of the season, he wasn't great. Now, of course, neither was half the
but I mean
90% of the team.
He wasn't what we saw in those first 10 games. I think when he first started playing. So again, we can always blame it on what happened towards the end of the year. But even he, like you said, he looked a little injury, and then he just didn't look the same. But that doesn't mean he can't still be the player that we want him to be. So.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the signing. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think he's still. I think he still hasn't hit his peak. Of course, he's
very green.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he can be a lot better, and I think he's going to get a lot better. And I don't expect him to be a Pro Bowl, All Pro type player. Maybe a Pro Bowl here or there. Last year he was leading the Pro Bowl votes at one point in the safeties, but I don't expect like an All Pro out of him or something. But I think he could be a very consistent second safety on this
and
team.
Find his niche. He knows when to come in, third down, maybe come in on the 4th down and 10 or something.
Absolutely,
He's that guy that can make that cover quick guy type thing. So that's huge.
Definitely. Sorry, I'm getting pumped.
And the money.
Yeah.
Sorry,
course,
and the money's big. Yeah, I know you got the Phillies on.
So I got the Phillies game on right here. They just had it out at home. They caught a guy going home, so that's good.
But I mean, the money is a big thing of it. Like he's to extend him to save. Now that helps with the cap, even though he does not a big hit but anything. But I mean, it just shows faith in a player, and it helps. I'm sure other players in the team go, okay, these guys are going to reward me if I do well, and hopefully let's continue that. So.
Definitely. So happy to have him coming back and extended a little bit longer. The second thing we re-signed Avonte Maddox, of course, who's been our starting nickel the past 4 or 5 years. He's been with us since 2018. So he's been going into his 7th year he's going into then?
Yeah.
6th or 7th? Yeah. I can never do that. I can never do the math with NFL seasons.
Yeah. He's going into his 7th.
Going into his 7th year. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's played
How
6 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going into his 7th season. So he's a guy who's got a lot of experience, and when he is healthy, I know the big thing has been his health. When he is healthy, he's really the best or one of the best nickel cornerbacks in the league.
Well, you know what? A few weeks ago, we sat around, we were watching some old highlights from the last 5 or 6 seasons, and every time I kept looking, you go, man, Maddox is amazing. He's making these great plays. So hopefully, he can continue where he was, and like you say, he was injured last year, and that didn't help at all. But again, we're just going to start with the team anew, and let's keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I think they just got a run in.
They did.
Dang it. Okay. I thought it was 2 for a second, though, so it was just 1, so that's okay. All right, next thing, we got Jordan Mailata. We extended him. He's going to be with us through up to the 2028 season now.
Wow.
Got a 3-year contract extension for $66 million on the back end of his contract, so he'll still be playing on the current contract he's on, and then it's an extension after that, so that's awesome. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. He was on the PFF team last year. Rated as one of the best left tackles and stuff like that. So
he's given up some sacks, but I mean, this guy's still in the learning curve, and I mean, for the money he's getting now, I mean, I think originally they'd said it was like one of the richest contracts in the left tackles, and but it doesn't matter, you got the guy for another 3
I think
or
he's
4
the
years.
4th highest paid left tackle now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all numbers. We know that, and we know Howie is a genius at it. So he's
I'm not worried.
It's all cap friendly, it's all team friendly, and he's very happy to be signed because he's come out of nowhere to be this amazing player for us, and hopefully he continues to get better.
This was a rugby player who had never played football before, and he got into the NFL. He got into the NFL, drafted in the 6th round, 7th round, and now he's one of the highest paid left tackles in the league. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's very happy. So no, it's cool that he's 27 right now, so he's signed up to be with us till he's 32, I think. So he's going to be the left tackle for the foreseeable future, which is always great. That's one of the positions on the offensive line you never want to ever be like, so who's next year's left tackle? You want to have this guy set, and we as a team, we're always so used to that. We had
Peters forever,
and before that we had Trey Thomas forever for 8 years, 9 years. So having that left tackle set and solid, solidified on a good offensive line is cornerstone. It's just perfect.
It's funny how teams are like that too. Like we are now known as a team with a great offensive line and have for many, many years. And you get other teams that have they always have the quarterback, or they always have the running back, or the linebacker, and something maybe we are not so strong at, but we definitely are known as that, and it continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Continues. Yeah, but that's because drafting, like we talk about all the time, they draft 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead.
Yeah, well, and we definitely have the best offensive line coach in the league, who has developed, developed a lot of these guys, and that's the big thing with Mailata. He came in without any of the, he didn't know anything. He had all the tools. He had the size, the athleticism, everything like that.
The heart,
And Stoutland knew what to do with him, and he's turned him into a top 5 left tackle in the league.
Yeah, I think his due was going to be coming. He's kind of been overlooked a couple of years.
Yeah,
not really. I mean, he has given up some sacks, as we know. We've watched the games.
Yeah, no,
we know
true.
but he's definitely made the plays, and he's getting better every year.
No, absolutely. So great to have him here. Like I said, left tackle, having that set for a while is great. Moving off of Eagle news, kind of Eagles adjacent news. Carson Wentz got signed by the Chiefs. That was just something we kind of wanted to talk about. Carson Wentz is a guy who's, for the rest of his career, he's going to be tied to the city of Philadelphia.
Look, we're big Eagle fans, obviously, and there's a lot of fans that have always been down on Carson. We're big Carson Wentz fans, and always will be.
I know.
And
when he played for the Rams last year against the Niners in that last game that was kind of meaningless, I was cheering for him. We watched the game. It was on our side TV, and
I agree.
We'll have a 3 TV setup when we're at the house, when we're not at the bar, and we didn't go to the bar that time. And we're big fans of Wentz. Man.
So good luck to him, and it's good for him, and hopefully he can get it together. I know he's in his 30s now, right? I mean,
he's 31 probably now.
But I mean, he's forever tied to our team as a Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, I can't ever cheer agast him.
Definitely
until
not.
he plays against
us. Until he plays,
that's
okay. That's
that
different.
May not happen, and we did it against when he was playing for
Washington. Yeah,
I
remember we had to cheer against him, and that's how it went.
That's true. That's the way it is. But so good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the draft. We're not going to be talking about who we're going to be drafting. We're going to talk about what we think we'll be drafting. So next time we'll talk about specifics, who we think we're going to draft, stuff like that. We're going to do a list of things that we're least likely to draft to most likely to draft. And there's 11 positions we're going to go over. We're not going to touch the specialists. Of course, we're not going to talk about kicker, punter, long snapper.
Luckily for us, we're set there.
I was going to say, we have them all signed through for the next year at least. I think 2 years. So that we're not going to talk about, but the 11 other positions.
Braden, man, what a surprise. That was amazing. Yeah. I'm glad we were able to sign him. Because how punters are. They have a great season, and then they go somewhere else.
Yeah. We're going to merge together the center and guard position and just call it the interior offensive line. And then we'll talk about tackles and stuff like that. But least likely to draft, we'll go back and forth on this. Okay. My number 11, the thing we're least likely to draft, I think, is a running back. After getting Saquon, of course, I don't expect to draft a running back. Plus, Howie's never going. I don't think he'll ever draft a running back in the first round again.
No.
So I think that forever will probably be the least likely.
Yeah, the only thing would be a late round flyer on maybe a great.
Punt,
I'm
sorry.
Return of that drop.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about. Like I'm talking about in the first round alone.
Yes.
I'm talking about pick number 22, not the entire draft.
Right.
I'm talking pick number 22. Who are we drafting,
yes.
or what are we drafting? We're not going to. We're least likely to draft a running back.
Yes.
What do you have?
Well, do you want me to go to 11 or 10?
11.
Okay, 11. I'm the same with you on that as far as running backs go.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we need one.
Obviously,
you always can bring another.
No, I think you're right. A 6th or 7th round, I could see it happening, but it's not.
First round, no way. We got Saquon. We've got Gainwell.
We might have Scott back. We'll see.
Hopefully.
Next at 10th, I have quarterback.
Wait, let me stop you there.
Oh, what's up?
But I was so kind of down on Scott after the end of the season. Like, well, we don't need him back. But if it's a good friendly contract, the guy's got game, and he definitely you can use him in certain situations.
They just don't.
No, they don't. Exactly. I mean, I'd love to see him more out of the backfield, kind of like a Darren Sproles was. and a hitter where you got all these wide receivers down the field and just hit him with something short and let him take it for 30 yards.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. Hopefully, maybe the new offensive coordinator will, buy into him a little bit. Of course, like you say, we have two, number 1 and a number 2 already to go this season, which is nice. And obviously, I think we only have the 2 signed right now.
Yeah.
So, you obviously need a couple more, but
to me, Scott should be. I know we're big fans of the tush, the brotherly shove and the tush push, and it's fun and everything like that. But I would like to see the team go away from that this year. I do get a little, there's times where I'm like, all right, we're on the 2-yard line. Let's, give it to Scott. Scott, if you look at Scott's percentages on scoring touchdowns compared to his carries, it's insane.
Yes.
And he always gets in when he's in that red zone.
A lot of times untouched too.
Yeah, when he's in that 5-yard line, I think he should be getting the majority of the snaps down there. Of course, now we got Saquon, who's even though I know he's not a fullback, he's obviously a running back, but he does have strength.
Yes.
He's a big dude. So
and it's funny. Last year, I know a few times we did the 2-back set, and I was very excited about it early on. And then it kind of went away as well.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, man, I just love that because with the 1 back or when the quarterback is in the shotgun, you kind of know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
These other teams know, well, he's going to run the ball up the middle, and that's what we do. And, the push is nice, but I don't know. I think it takes a toll on a lot of the players. And,
it does.
We need Hurts to be a passing quarterback as first, and when the chips they're down, then maybe run. But I still think he's got.
Here's the thing:
the team still has that first run.
To me, I'm a fan of when it's 3rd down and goal on the 1-yard line. Yes, QB shove.
Everything's up. Yeah.
But when it's 1st down, 2nd down, let's run the ball.
Conventional offense.
Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I have Next, I have quarterback. To me, that's our second least likely. The only reason I don't have that below running back is because of Howie's comments one time about the quarterback factory.
Yeah,
so
I'm didn't age well.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Obviously, we're not going to be drafting a quarterback, but I'm just throwing that as my second least likely just because of that. You have the same thing.
Same thing. And when you first mentioned it to me earlier, I said, "Well, QB," and you were like, "Well, running back," and I went, "Well, yeah, you're probably right there." But there's no way we're going to draft a quarterback in the first 5 picks.
Yeah,
and if we do, I'm going to be mad. You know how I feel about that.
Next thing, linebacker, I have as our third least likely thing to draft. It's funny because we need a linebacker. I don't think we need a 1st-round linebacker.
Right.
We do have to remember Nakobe Dean's still coming back. Of course, I know we don't know what he is.
Right.
But we also got Devin White. We got some other guys to fill the holes. Obviously we're not set there yet. So I'm thinking 2nd round or 3rd round.
Yeah, but it's just, and the other thing is knowing who is doing the drafting,
That's
which
the
is
thing.
Howie never will
draft.
pick a linebacker early.
No.
I
could see 2nd round. I think one of the 2nd round picks this year will be a linebacker.
I would hope it would be, especially if a couple of guys we've got our eyes on are still out there. I'm hoping we can get them. But
Peyton Wilson, Trotter.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
I'm a big Trotter guy. I've watched him play several times this year. But let's keep it a secret.
Let's keep it down. Yeah.
We don't want anybody else taking them, but. That's the way it is. You just gotta pick the guy for your needs and what kind of linebacker do we need? A cover back. We don't really need the blitzing back anymore. We need
true.
A good cover back.
Yeah, because Nakobe was a big blitzer in college. Devin White, of course, is the great blitzer in the league now.
Yeah.
So we do need a cover guy, and then we got Zach Bond, that guy, and he's more of an edge rusher kind of guy. So we'll see what happens there.
He's a blitzer type guy. Yeah. On a 3rd down, once in a while, on 2nd down, I know he's not going to be playing a good percentage of the plays, but you just want to have that sneaky guy you can throw out there, and all of a sudden, where'd he come from?
Yep. What do you have, linebackers? Well, what do you have?
Well, that one I didn't get too far on, but yes, I do. I know we're not going to pick one in the 1st round, so I guess that's a spot where you put it.
Next thing I had defensive tackle. I just have this because I think with defense. Do you want me to do my list and then you do yours, or you want to?
No, it's better this way.
Gotcha.
You go with yours, and I will agree with you on that defensive tackle only because
the last 2 picks,
the last 2 number 1 picks, and then of course we still got a couple guys.
Milton Williams is still around,
right? So that's 3. We lost Cox obviously, but
we got Ojomo last year in the 7th round. I know he's not a great, he's a 7th round pick, so there's nothing to write home yet, but. That's four guys, and then there's Tui Pelotu who they like. So that's 5 guys. So I don't expect them to draft okay, Harper's up. Sorry,
but I agree with you there. I don't think they're going to have anybody in mind like that.
Yeah,
I think we need other positions as well. Yeah. I really think, and I'm hoping. But go ahead, you continue.
Yep. Next, I have safety. I don't think any safety is going to be going in the 1st round this year. It's not a very stacked safety
See,
class.
that's the other thing you have to look at is how well are they? If you look at a top 100 and the first DB is at 22nd, we don't want to be taking the guy. We're going to kind of wait, hopefully, and get the guy we want.
Yeah. So I don't think a safety is going to be drafted. So in the first round at all. So I think we are also pretty not. I don't want to say stacked, but we did get Gardner Johnson.
Yes.
We've got Reed extended. I know Justin Simmons is still out there, and people are calling for that. We don't know. We'll see. But also with Sidney Brown coming back later in the season.
We bow our head when that happens, when we talk about Sidney, because just the way it happened and when it happened.
Yeah, but ridiculous. Also with Sidney Brown, they're probably not going to be unbelievable. That made me mad. Sorry. Double play, just a horrible. I can't. Schwarber was off the base. Sorry. Harper was that bad. I had to pay attention. So I just don't think a safety's in the works. Next least likely thing drafted, I think I have tight end. The reason being is because lately things have been changing. That's the fun thing about draft, mock draft, and the list of the players, and this guy's top 10, this guy's top 20, stuff like that's fun, is that it always changes. Things change around. There was a time where Jeremiah Trotter, he was expected, he's early second round pick.
Right.
Now he's fallen like the third round.
Right.
And then they had guys like the guy I'm going to talk about, Brock Bowers,
the
tight end out of Georgia. He was expected to be a top 10 pick.
Right.
Now they're talking like, he might be down in the 20s and stuff like that. And the reason I have him here, the tight end here, is because if Brock Bowers is available at 22, I think you got to take him.
Right.
I think he's that good.
Yeah.
I know it's hard because I love Dallas Goedert. It's unfortunate that he's been an injured guy.
29 years old, right?
Yeah, he's 30. Or maybe he is 29. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But still, I mean.
Yeah, it's at some point you got to kind of worry. He doesn't stay healthy for us very often. Him and his buddy Avonte Maddox, he's 29.
I also think the last few years we could have and should have got a tight end.
Yeah,
we really need another one.
And I'm not saying a first rounder, but we got Calcaterra in the 6th round that year. We got Stoles, an undrafted free agent.
Right. But we needed another pass catcher.
We do.
If you're going to have a tight end, obviously you want to be able to block, but we definitely need somebody that can at least give you the thought that maybe this guy's going to go out for a pass, and that changes the defense.
Yeah.
And opens up the running game as well. So, I don't think we would pick but it's very possible that if I'm just
saying if he's there, Howie's going to have to, if Howie's thinking, I'm drafting this, he's going to be like, I'm drafting this. Schwarber's the slow butt.
Or if, he's at 22 and the 3 teams behind you don't need it, want a tight end or don't need a tight end.
Yeah,
you can maybe
you can get
trade down, and maybe pick up a 3rd or 4th round pick and still get the guy you want. Yeah. But that's all about that's the hard part about the draft. Yeah. I never really think that in those terms. I'm always like, stay in your pick your guy,
I know.
Get the best player available type thing. But that's not how Howie works. He trades around all the time.
There's certain ways, but it depends. But there are certain ways to do it. Yeah. So, that's my only reason I have tight end there is because if it's here, you got to go with him.
Right.
Next, I have interior offensive line at 5th. I think I'm starting to get into the least likely. I'm starting to get into the likely.
Yeah.
So this is still 5th, but interior offensive line, I don't think we will, but it would never surprise me with Howie. He's incredibly big on the trenches.
Right.
It's the most important thing to him in his drafting career is the trenches. So I don't expect it because we did get Hennessy and we Cam Jurgens, we have Tyler Steen still.
Right.
I do expect to see an offensive lineman or 2 picked in the 4th, 5th round by us.
Right.
But it's not out of I wouldn't be shocked.
That's true, and that's probably the best way to say your top 5 now would be.
Yeah.
Nothing would shock me in this area, and I agree with that. If you can pick up the second best guard from last year's college game.
Yeah.
And, we could use him, or even a right tackle. Obviously, that's probably going to be one of your top
coming
picks.
up. Yeah.
That part I understand, but good. Go ahead.
Yep. Next, I have wide receiver. Again, I don't expect to, but I wouldn't be shocked. I think we're going to use a high pick on a wide receiver this year. I think a 2nd rounder might be in the works for one.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If not, it'll be 4th rounder. But I think we need another guy. We talk about it, and this is the same as that tight end thing. We just don't have that 3rd option, that wide receiver. We don't have a 3rd guy. Same thing as the tight end. We don't have a 2nd guy.
Right.
That 5th,
and you need that.
Yeah.
You need to have that.
We need that 5th playmaker on your offense. So obviously every quarterback, I'm not counting him.
Right.
But after that, it's you got 2 wide receivers. We have the tight end. We have the running back.
Right. That's your 4.
Who's your 5th?
Right.
Whether it's a tight end 2 or it's a wide receiver 3 or maybe a running back 2. I don't think it will be that, but who is that going to be?
Right, and that depends how Kellen Moore runs this offense. If he's going to use two backs type thing, that would be great because you always have that guy to dump it off to. Obviously, we know last year when teams just stacked the line and went for the sack against us, we never really had that dump off guy. That's your tight end. That's your other running back too, if you will. So that's something that we're hoping to see. But that would be something. Like I say, it would be definitely a thought.
Yeah, and the other thing would be if at 22nd, if you have a wide receiver who's great, you might go for him depending on who falls. We'll see. That's the other thing about that. Next, I have defensive end. I don't think I don't think we're going to draft it, but because we drafted a defensive end last year, but we just lost Reddick. So who knows? I don't know.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Do I expect it? No.
And but it's, top 3, top 4 guy in their list of
that's
defensive ends.
It's not a defensive end heavy draft, but your second, if you can get the second best guy or the first if he falls, I don't know.
Right.
Things happen every single year.
Now, it's funny you say that because I've never really believed that whole it's not a good drafting running back because they don't know what they're doing anyway. Yeah. These guys become stars out of nowhere. The 6th round, 5th round picks become the better wide receiver than the guy picked in the 1st round.
Yeah.
So to me, that's something to, at least look at and listen to, but not necessarily put your money on.
Definitely.
Because it happens.
Next, this is going to be surprising because this isn't how I want it to go. But at second, most likely to draft, I think is cornerback.
In the 1st round.
I have cornerback. Okay. Now, this is not my want. I want us to draft a cornerback. I won't hide that now.
Right.
I'm hoping we draft Kool-Aid McKinstry, or if he's there, Cooper DeJean. I want a cornerback very badly. I want a true outside lockdown corner. We need that soon. We need that now.
And if we don't, even for next year, but Slay's getting older.
Yeah. Slay's getting older, and
short
players
now.
He could have a Bradbury moment at any given game. He could drop off that big. I don't expect it, but And so I think we need a true lockdown corner. Once we can get him. So
of course, Howie doesn't do that, but
I know that's the thing. So that's why I have corner at number 2.
But maybe it's time to change that.
That's
maybe,
the thing.
We need change.
Yeah.
Like you can't continually draft offensive and defensive linemen every first pick.
Because I would draft a corner, but I don't think he will. I have that feeling of I just don't think he will. You know what I mean?
So who's your number 1?
So number 1 most likely to draft, I think it's going to be an offensive tackle.
Okay.
I think it's going to be an offensive tackle.
The least sexiest of all the positions.
Right, yeah.
Pick. But you're right. We need a right tackle for the future.
To replace Lane in the future.
And it's time now to start getting ready for it.
And if he's a guy who can play the guard and tackle position, that might be why. They might be thinking, he can play both positions. And this year he can play right guard and take that spot. And next year he can be right tackle or something like, or in 2 years he can be right tackle.
Right.
Kind of as a Cam Jurgens type thing, for Kelsey. We drafted him knowing Kelsey was going to play another year or two.
Right.
And he's going to be
And hopefully,
growing.
when you get to the offensive tackle, offensive guard, you're looking at that certain specimen, 6'2", 250, 6'6".
Regard, yeah.
Look at Lane. Look at,
Yeah, for
Mailata.
center you want 6'1", 6'2",
right?
Maybe 6'3", guard 6'3", 6'4", and then your tackles.
Right.
You could be any size, but you want 6'5", 6'6",
and some
then
speed.
You get your Mailata who's got 6'8".
Right. Yeah, that's an anomaly. But when you get back to your 6'5", what's Lane? 6'6"?
Lane's got to be 6'6". I actually
and he's probably
don't know
290
for sure.
something like that. He's got
big.
speed, but he's had some injury issues in the last couple seasons. He played amazing.
So they got him 6'6". They got him here 6'6", 310.
Okay, so that's
and when he first came into the league, he was 325. He did get smaller.
Okay, so that's your prototypical right tackle. Of course, right and left tackle are 2 different positions as well.
Yeah, true.
But we do kind of need the right tackle replacement in the year or 2. But next year would be great to have that guy sitting there, ready to go, eager, young, teach him things.
Yeah.
Lane can give him some tips, you know what I mean, and get him going.
Yeah. So, my top 3, defensive end, cornerback, offensive tackle. I think that's one of those 3 we're going to be drafting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if wide receiver or guard or center, but I don't think it'll happen.
And it's funny because I really have not gotten into, like you say, this is a quarterback-heavy draft or whatever. But I think this year it looks like they were talking first 3 or 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah,
which is great for us because it opens up. Now we can do some stuff or maybe get the best right tackle at 8 or 9 and not have to give up much. Yeah. That's the thing.
It's pretty quarterback heavy in the term. There's like 5 or 6 guys. I mean, what do we got? Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and that's the top 3. People think that's going to be the top 3. And then you've got J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix.
Yeah, I've heard him talking.
I'm probably skipping a name or 2. Oh, Bo Nix.
Yes.
He's going to be a second round maybe or first round. People don't know. But so that's 6 guys, six, maybe a 7th guy I'm forgetting. So that's pretty big. And then it's supposed to be the wide receiver and the cornerback. It's a wide receiver cornerback draft.
Oh, that's good to know.
What it's been
We
called.
need both of those.
Yeah. So absolutely. If you can get a 4th round pick and it's your wide receiver and he's the 10th best wide receiver, that's pretty darn good.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So it's a big wide receiver cornerback draft with a couple and quarterback as well. But yeah, not a lot of offensive linemen, not a lot of defensive ends. That's the big thing they talked about. And linebackers kind of not in the first round at all, really.
And I know we're going to get into the draft a little bit more as we get closer.
Yes, absolutely.
But, and like I say, I'll do a little bit of homework and see what we can find. Maybe have some names next time. Players that we really would like to see us get. But, there's so much out there, and there's so much if you just go on YouTube and just start looking it up.
They know.
You can 18 different draft picks. I was looking at it at the beginning of the season this past year just to see what people were saying. And it's always interesting,
Yeah.
But
definitely.
It's a good time of year for it.
You got anything else on the Eagles or the draft?
Not really, no. I'm just, like I say, we'll get that as we get closer and do a little bit of more homework and have some names.
All right, let me touch on some other sports. The 76ers, 43-35. They've won 3 in a row. They're on a good run trying to get out of the play-in tournament. Right now, they're in the 8th seed spot. There is a chance for them to get to the 6th seed, so they're really trying to get there so you can avoid. First of all, being in the play-in is not fun, and if you get the 8th or 7th or 8th seed, you're playing Milwaukee or Boston. So you really want to get to that 6th seed and see if you can play Cleveland, because that's a much easier easier draw than Boston or Milwaukee. So let's see how that goes. They play San Antonio tonight, so it's Wembanyama. Embiid is not playing, unfortunately. I think they're holding Embiid and Lowry out. Embiid's not injured. Well, he's coming back from an injury, but I think they're just taking it easy on him.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, he did have a 30-point game the other night, so he's coming back in fashion. He's been coming back strong, so it's great to see. And hopefully we can push to get out of that play-in, because you just really don't want to be. You don't want to be in the play-in, and you don't even want the. When you win the play-in, you don't even want to be there.
Right,
you know what I mean? So
it's all about matchups after that first or second round.
Exactly. Next, we got the Phillies. They're 4-4. They've won their first series of the year against the Nationals. They're losing right now 2-1. So I keep an eye on that. I'll keep watching that game.
Who's pitching today?
Christian Sanchez.
It seems like he's been getting rocked a little bit.
He was. I'm wondering if they're going to make a change. I think. What are we in the? I didn't notice the inning. Third or fourth?
I think it's
Okay. So I think they're going to be making a change pretty soon. Go to the bullpen. See if Hoffman can come in. I think that's who's going to be on call for tonight. But yeah, 4-4. They won their first series against the Nationals. They're playing the 3rd game against them right now.
Going for the sweep.
Earlier in the week, we didn't get to talk about it because we took a week break to do this episode from last week, which is not like us. We usually split it in half at least. But Harper had a 3 home run game.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was great to watch. It was against the Reds in the second game against the Reds in Cincinnati. Or it was at home, I'm sorry. But against Cincinnati. Really awesome to watch. I missed the first 2 home runs because I was at work still, because the game was at 4:45. I'm still at work. And,
right.
Sorry, 6:45 back there. But
sure,
4:45 here, and I'm like, I got to get home for it. And so I missed the first 2 home runs. So I was kind of bummed, but I did get home, and on the big screen, I got to watch the Grand Slam. And it was awesome. It was just cool.
6 RBI game.
Yeah, it was just
pretty early in the season, racking those up.
Right,
That's awesome.
I know. No, it was great. It was just cool because I was like, oh. It was worth missing the other 2 now, you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, I got to see it in his 3rd home, of course, it's a Grand Slam, so it's just awesome to watch. But going over to the Union, they're 3-0-3, still undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in the MLS. This brought them up to the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference.
Nice.
It's kind of funny how much points can change things really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Same in hockey, but with soccer, last week after our win against who they play last week? Do you remember? Portland, I think?
Yes, it was.
Was it Portland? Yeah.
Yes.
When they beat them, they were still in the 9th seed, and it was like,
Right.
And then this week they won. They're up to the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference.
That's
You're like,
funny.
holy crap! Like, it's just funny how a win can swing, because if other teams tie or lose, they get no points or 1 point, or
Right.
And we got 3 points, and it boosted us. They beat Nashville FC 2-1. Was a great game. We didn't get to watch it. We were at the Switchbacks game, so we didn't get to watch it live. But we did watch the highlights, and I was keeping track on it during it.
Yes.
They were down 1-0, and I was like, ah. And then the next time I looked, they were winning 2-1, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So Gazdag and Carranza, their 2 lead forwards, they both had a goal. They were great.
And the winning goal was in the last extra time.
It was actually in the 90th minute.
Right,
that's
in the 90th
minute. Yeah,
that's awesome.
89-45. If you want to watch the highlights, Steve.
Very good.
Next, we'll talk about the Flyers. So yesterday, all 4 Philly teams played, except the Eagles, of course. So the 4 other teams played: the Sixers, Phillies, Union, and Flyers. Flyers had a bad one. They have lost 7 straight.
Ooh.
They're 36, 31, and 11. They actually are out of the playoff picture now due to the Pirates have taken him, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Son of a,
Penguins?
Penguins. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm watching baseball. Sorry. The Penguins,
Yeah.
obviously, so they took their spot in the playoffs, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Not many games left, I don't think, in NHL.
What'd you say, 36?
But the 36, 31, and 11.
Yeah, there's only a few left.
Yeah, so they
Maybe
don't
4 games.
Yeah,
maybe?
they don't. So they don't have much time to fix it. So it's a little bit of a bummer that they fell out of the playoffs because that was just
Yeah. And it's getting near the end of the season.
It was kind of they were really a overachieving team for the longest time, the entire season.
Right.
So it's just a bummer that they now messed up at the end, and you're like,
Yeah.
like they're right outside they're right outside of it. So I mean, if they do win, they have more wins than Pittsburgh than the
Right.
Penguins, but they have one more loss. So
Right.
that's why. So they
Right.
played 2 more games than them.
So that's always
So
something.
so things can change
Yes.
because they have the same amount of draws. So if they lose a game in overtime and get a point, that could boost them above the Penguins. If the Penguins lose, they get
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Things can still change, of course, but they're tied for points right now. But I think in the head-to-head, Pittsburgh's winning, so they're in the playoffs
got it,
above
yeah.
them right now. Last sport we're going to talk about, not really a true sport, not a sport that we ever talk about on here, but we'll talk about the WWE real quick.
All right.
As you know, Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, they showed up at WrestleMania last night,
Which is
in Philly.
in Philly.
WrestleMania is in Philly. Earlier this week, there was a video posted online of The Rock. He said some stuff about Jalen Hurts, and so a lot of the Philly fans were kind of mad. And
Right.
there's a lot of stuff on Twitter. It was really hilarious.
He's just trying to start some.
He is. That's what
controversy.
that's what the point is. He's one of the bad guys right now. I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
he's on the bad guy team.
Right.
like, They always do that. Right now he's one of those guys. He's a heel.
Yeah.
heel and
the
babyface? Yeah.
Yep.
So he's one of the good bad guys right now, I think. But yeah, Kelsey and Lane Johnson, they showed up to help Rey Mysterio win his match. They were a tag team match. It was really cool.
God, Rey Mysterio's still around.
He's
huh?
still around.
Man,
yeah.
I remember we used to love him.
He did the little tadpole splash I always used to do on you.
Yeah.
We used to wrestle all the time
Yeah.
when I was a kid. And
That's funny.
he did the little tadpole splash to win the game. It was awesome.
What was Ray? Was it 619 or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He did it. Yep, he did the 619. It was a double 619. He got both of the
Nice.
guys. I think his
Nice.
son was one of them. Dom Mysterio.
I'll have to look
He's
for
a
some
wrestler.
highlights. That's funny.
But-
God, he's got to be in his 40s or 50s.
Oh, he's up there. Yeah,
My
he's for
Lord.
sure. I mean, he started young. A lot
He
of those
did.
guys,
They do.
you find out they're young, and then a lot of them they have kids when they're 22. So
yeah. Well,
you
to
know-
do what he was doing, I mean, he had to be young because that's
yeah, he was
super physical.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's funny.
But yeah, so Kelsey and Johnson showed up. They were in Eagles masks. It was really cool.
Nice.
They were wearing the Rey Mysterio like luchador mask.
Right,
like,
right,
It was
right.
really cool, and it was Eagles.
That's
And
funny.
it was funny because the announcer, if you listen to it, you'll watch it. The announcer's like, "Who are these guys? Oh, like, who's this?" And the guy's like, "What are these guys? Are huge." And then one guy's like, "Oh, I think those are." I can't remember what they said. Like, who are these knuckleheads? And one guy's like, "Oh, they look like legends to me." Like, and then they ripped off their hats, and
That's,
Kelsey's up on the
yeah.
big thing cheering and stuff. So
Drinking a beer. No.
probably they should have been smashing beers. You'd think they would have. Lane Johnson, he's been historically a big fan of the WWE.
Oh, right.
You see, he's done some Stone Cold things because they're both bald, and he's a
Right.
big dude. And so he's been a big fan for a while. He's
Very
had
funny.
some titles and stuff, and he's worked out with some WWE wrestlers. I think he was
Right.
working out with The Rock one time,
Oh, wow.
and he was working out with AJ. I don't know their names.
That's funny.
I'm
That gets
sorry.
the crowd going.
It is cool. Well, especially in Philly,
Yeah.
it's fun.
We've
it's
been
really
to a
cool.
couple of those.
Yeah, we went to WrestleMania 28.
Jeez.
I think it was 26. WrestleMania 20.
That was
it
in
was
Phoenix, right?
It was WrestleMania
Yeah.
26 in Phoenix back when we lived there. He
That
took
was
me for
fun.
my birthday.
That was fun.
My birthday, of course, March 31st is around WrestleMania time every
Then
year.
we used to pay for that.
Yeah, we used to do pay-per-view
Couple
every
years
year
for
after
your
that.
birthday,
A couple
too.
years.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was
Well,
fun.
we had some family that was into it too, so it was fun.
Definitely.
get
Yeah,
together
Mindy and Matt were also
get
always
into
into
it.
it. Yeah, that's cool.
That's fun.
Cool. So yeah, well, you got anything else to say? Say our goodbyes?
No, just I got my nephew's in the hospital, not doing so well, so we're just hoping for some prayers from some more fans, and hopefully we can get him out and get him home safe.
Yeah, guy I just mentioned, Matt, my older cousin, been like an older brother to me my whole life.
Definitely.
I texted him the other night because I was just like thinking about it and got emotional and just was like,
Sure.
hey man, get better. And I'm going out to Phoenix next week, so hope to see him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hopefully by then this is a thing of the past and
Right.
everything's better by then. But let's go ahead and say our goodbyes.
You got it.
We wish you well, Matt. We're praying for you and we love you, brother.
That's right.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe below. Comment down below as well. Let us know what you think we're going to be drafted, maybe who you think we're going to be drafted.
Yeah, give us some names.
Yeah, and who your favorite.
Who do you want?
Yeah, who do you want the Eagles to draft, and who do you want your other favorite team to draft if you're a fan of someone else. But as always, you can email us your questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, my name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.